everybody, welcome to Everything Studio. I am your host, Jim Martignetti, and if you are here to learn about the recording studio from A to Z, then this is the place. Hey everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Everything Studio. The first episode we're going to do today is, why does my snare sound like shit? Well, I got this question from Jim Hoffman, and Jim, thank you for your response. I would like to explain to you on why I believe your snare sounds like shit. It's probably the snare, bottom line. Usually if an instrument, especially an acoustical one, does not sound good from the beginning, it's sure as hell is not going to sound good in the end. My other question would be, is the drummer hitting it right? Are they hitting it in the center? Are they rim shotting it? Are they butt shotting it? How are they playing the snare? Is it tuned properly? That's obviously a huge one. Let me explain to you how I do my snare. I have a couple things I picked up along the way. One, I have a little bit of a secret. So when I first started engineering and recording, I noticed every single time that I did a rock band, especially, the drummer would always hit the hi-hat super, super hard. And every time I got the EQ of the snare to sound just the way I wanted it, it just sounded terrible from the hi-hat, just totally overpowering it. So I actually created something, and someone mentioned to me, Michael Jackson's engineer did this, but I actually took a ping pong paddle. And then I just screwed a hole in it, mounted it. Can you see that? I'm not sure if you can see that, but mounted it with a female mic boom input thing there to put on the mic stand. And then I went to Home Depot and got some of this pad from, I think it's a floor mat. It's nice thick rubber. It's got all these little pockets in there. And all I do, I put it on a boom stand. I put the hi-hat here and the snare here, and this kind of helps the reflection of the super harsh brightness of the hi-hat leaking into the snare drum. So that's what I like to do. And when it comes to gating, it helps with the gate, and if you're not using a gate, it actually just helps keep some of the high frequencies out of the way. So that's, for me, that's actually a lifesaver. I've had many incidences where it's just, almost embarrassing to show the band. Like, I can't show them that. So I started using that, and then it just all seemed to be working for me. If I needed to gate it heavily, I could gate it, no problem, because usually the hi-hat is going to open up the gate. There's ways around there. As the years progress, people come up with new techniques and side chaining and everything, but I like to try to keep my productions a little bit, I don't want to say basic, but I try not to overthink things. I try not to overdo things. I notice when you get into that aspect, it's like where it could be creative, but I'd rather use my creative energy in a different way. So that's how I do my snare drums. I used to use a Bear dynamic microphone. I believe it was the M201. I actually recently did a shootout between all of my mic pre's with different mics and everything, and sure enough, I used a Classic API DIY kit from Jeff Seeger, and I used just an SM57 just knocked everything out of the park. I do like condenser microphones on there. However, I ended up using my AKG mic. Actually, I'm using it as my overhead or my talking mic right now. This is the 1000S. 1000S. This microphone right here on the bottom of a snare, sounds great, and really super. It's got just clarity on the top end and a little bit of beef. I know people don't like the beef part of the snares, but this thing sounds great, and it gives it a nice depth to the snare. And I kind of, when I track, I like to track using an 1176. I don't hit it too hard, but I hit it pretty good. When I'm recording, I try to get the recording to be a final recording. So when as I'm recording and producing a band, I'm trying to record as what the finished product will just about sound like. So if there's a couple of reasons. People don't like to do that because they're saying, oh, well, now you can't go back and change this and do that. Well, I'm an engineer. I know what it should sound like. I'm going to get it done. If the band isn't happy with it, then we change things. So this kind of helps the mix process a little bit too. One, everyone's on the same page. The band likes it. And three, if the band doesn't like it, you could make sure it's sounding a little bit more to how they want it. So when the mix engineer or the producer mixes the project, they kind of know where they're going. The band can go home, do whatever they need to do. The engineer can sit around and mix. So that's my approach. And so this is my first episode on Everything Studio, and I hope you learned something. I can dive into some projects and open up some snare mics, and we can try to see what we can find out. Okay, thank you. And if you liked anything, please subscribe to this. I need all the subscribers I can get to get this channel started and growing quickly. And thank you all, and have a wonderful day.